Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chidi and I'm a lifestyle vlogger. I make videos about my lifestyle, motherhood, family and some bits of medical school. So if you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and I hope you join the family by clicking on the subscribe button below. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. Today is the second part of my medical school series, and if you haven't seen part one, I'm going to link it somewhere up there. And in this part two, I'm going to be discussing my life as a medical student. So sit back, relax and enjoy this video. Prior to moving to Leeds to start medical school, I had to find an accommodation, and I wanted to find accommodation that was a walking distance to the university. And secondly, I also wanted to find accommodation to give me an opportunity to meet with other students and also make my integration in Leeds a bit easier. So I ended up going for a student hall, and the student hall was 15 minutes from the university by walking, and also was able to live with other students. I think about 6 to 5 that lived in a flat, and it was an ensuite. So after I started, we had the first week, and the first week is mostly freshers week, which gives you the chance to engage in a lot of activities, meet up with a lot of friends, and just time for you to socialize and meet people. Guys, so I'm going to talk about my life as a medical student by splitting into two big areas: my preclinical years and my clinical years. So my preclinical years was made up of first and second years of medical school, while my clinical years was from third to fifth year. So in the preclinical area, as the name suggests, the exposure to the clinical environment was quite minimal, and it was mostly lecture based. So we'll have lectures from Monday to Friday, roughly 9 to 5. And on Wednesdays, we usually go on to the wards to see the patient for half a day. And the preclinical years is mostly done via lectures, and going into lectures from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and having lectures on biochemistry and sciences and anatomy. And these lectures were quite full on, in the sense that a lot was covered in an hour, and I was finding it difficult at first to to manage it all, because the lectures were fast paced and they usually cover lots of content within an hour. And also during the lectures, I found it difficult taking the notes as well as listening to the lecturer. At first, I tried to do both, and I quickly realized I couldn't combine both because I was getting distracted. I wasn't focusing on what the lecturer was saying, and so I stopped taking the notes during lectures and started listening more to the lecturers. And that meant that I had to do more work after university, because after university I had to go back home and then listen to the recorded lectures, because luckily enough for us, the lectures were recorded. So I'd go back home and try to listen to the recorded lectures and then make my notes. So I was putting in 4 or 5 hours after lectures, and that was a lot of workload, because back in Bradford I wasn't doing this much in Bradford. So the workload sort of it got bigger on going to Leeds. I also find making concise notes very difficult, because there was so much stuff to learn, and you couldn't possibly learn everything because it was a lot. So I just I think the challenge was trying to see through all the information to know which one was more important than the other. So I think that was what I was finding difficult to reconcile, because I'm used to learning everything required for the exams. But in medical school, I found that it was almost impossible to know all the details. So you just need to be very good at making very concise notes. So higher education experience is quite different to that of college and even foundation, because the information from the lecturers is not spoon-fed. So you just need to learn how to study effectively on your own. So like I mentioned previously, we had so much content and so much workload to cover in the first 2 years. So you just need to find effective study strategies to ensure that you cover everything needed for the exams. It was also quite important for you to have good time management skills, because you would still realize there'll be so much for you to do, and it's also important to try to slot in time to go out there and socialize, and also partake in extracurricular activities to avoid burnout. So my clinical year started from year 3 up until year 5, And as the name suggests, learning was predominantly done on the wards in clinical areas. And at the start of year 3, we were given like a curriculum on what was needed for the exams at the end of the year. So we were expected to learn whilst on clinical placements by, observing and also taking note of the conditions encountered on the wards. So guys, I found this time in medical school exciting because I could actually see medicine in practice, and I could practice some of the skills learned during the lectures and in classrooms on patients. So it was a very exciting time. However, it was also very challenging because the workload drastically increased. For example, you were expected to be on the wards, let's say from 9 o'clock, and by the time you get home, it's probably 5 or 6, depending on how far your placement is from home. And when you get back home, you're expected to also learn, the conditions for the day and do a lot of work at home by yourself. So guys, now I'm going to discuss the assessment structure in medical school. So in preclinical years, the assessment structure was mostly multiple choice questions, and that occurred at the end of the year. So covering the whole entire content for the whole year. So guys, that was very difficult for me, guys. I'm not used to like taking one exam that covered the entire thing at the end of the year. I'm used to having 2 exams, so 2 exams within the year. So mostly like, after the first semester, you have the exam that cover the content for the first semester, and then another exam that covers the second semester's content. But guys, I got a real shocker when I got into medical school, man. At my medical school, they usually did the exam at the end of the year that covered the whole content. Like, guys, I was so, petrified about it. I didn't know how it was possible for me to like revise the whole thing and be able to retain that much knowledge. So I think that's, sort of motivated me to start revising on time and trying to like, keep on top of work. But guys, at the end of the day, I think you needed like an effective study strategy to be able to retain so much knowledge. So I think that's what I struggled with the first 2 years, just trying to find the effective study strategy to enable me retain so much knowledge. And then in the clinical years, we also had an exam, so multiple choice questions, as well as an OSCE. So an OSCE is an observed structured clinical examination. So let's say it's like a practical exam in which they assess your skills. So also those 2 exams were done at the end of the year. So we're under so much pressure. Like, guys, come May, June, I ain't smiling with anybody because I'm preparing for my exams. So guys, the pressure was intense a few months of the exams because there was so much we had to prepare, but the theory aspect, which is multiple choice questions, and the practical aspect, which was all skills. So guys, I really found it difficult as well trying to prepare for both exams at the same time at the end of the year. So guys, medical school workload is much. You just need to be very dedicated and be a hard worker and be able to like manage your time effectively or properly to just avoid burnout. So guys, I wanted to quickly add I also had a part-time job through a medical school, so I was doing 12 hours per week, and that meant I didn't have time to commit to extracurricular activities, like things like joining committees, joining sports, and joining other clubs. So guys, in my 3rd year, I got pregnant as well, and if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it also somewhere on the screen. So that added more to my workload when I got pregnant in 3rd year and tried to manage it all with medical school. But with I don't know, I just sort of tried to manage and it worked out for me. But guys, I had to go back to 4th year with a baby who was only 3 months old. But I was lucky enough that my mom came around and she would stay at home with the baby while I went back to university. And also the university was kind enough to give me access to a room to express my milk, and that made me feel better and less guilty because I was able to continue on my breastfeeding journey. So in final year, I got pregnant again, and I had to go on placements for the first 6 months or so, and also the placement also made some adjustments for me to reduce my exposure to patients, and most of the consultations were done remotely, so that also provided me with the protection I needed at that point. So guys, that's my life as a medical student. So full of challenges, surprises, good times and bad times, but in all, I'm glad that I undertook this journey, and I'm also glad that I've come out of it because I've finally passed my medical school finals, and Yes, and I'm so grateful for it. And that comes to the end of my video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.